Outside looking in. Let me tell you something. Outside looking in, I've been reading a lot of your comments, man, and you're very, you're objective. If I'm some trash, you tell me I'm some trash. If my point is off, you tell me my point is off. And if I make a good point, you tell me. So I appreciate that. There's nothing worse than when these Bills channels or team channels stay politically correct. For what?
Who wants to win more than this guy?
I can get used to this winning thing!
What up, Bills fans? Happy Victory Monday today. Feels good. Any victory feels good. It feels good to be competitive. It feels good to show up on offense. It feels great. I don't know any other way to say that. I just love to see the Bills in the win column. Maybe I'm selfish. Maybe that's me. Maybe that's how I like my Bills. Well done. I need a W. What do you take away from this game today? How do we clearly look at the game like today? Because there's so much twisting things and factors into this one victory that make this victory complex. It's not as complex for me. To me, it's straightforward. If something's been wrong in you multiple times, and just because it's right one time, doesn't mean you necessarily give it a pass over the 9 times. You still trust your gut. And as far as I'm concerned, Daboll is a no-go. What proof do I have? Even in a 41-10 victory, I'll tell you what proof I have that Daboll is a no-go in this 41-10 victory. And a lot of you are gonna be like, "This guy's full of shit, man. Already ran off the bat, man. This guy's just, fuck this guy. He knows nothing. He's stupid." Whatever you want to say about me, if you said all that shit before I even got this out, then you're not open-minded. You're not willing to listen, and you're just being ignorant. In that game, it's about what you pay attention to, okay? And I can definitely tell you I can't pick apart the offensive play calling too much in that game. It was very straightforward. It was common sense. It was well run. There's no real big complaints in there. Will we get 8 first downs? Our third down conversions, we had 8, at least get 8. That's a number I can work with. That's a starting number to work with. That's basic offensive coordinator production. I like that. All right? Got no complaints there. Barkley, got no complaints there. Here's the point. When you're paying attention to it, sometimes it's about what they say and not what's going on as much on TV. And in this particular point, you may have walked away from a beer, and maybe you heard it yourself, but there's a young lady or a lady had said when they had interviewed McDermott, the question she had asked him on the sideline, she said the question she had asked him is, how did you prepare Matt Barkley for this game? Now, this is in-game question. This is not actually you see her asking McDermott. This is what she's telling the guys in the booth. And McDermott, or she said the response that she got back was that they didn't have time to get Daboll's system installed into him or get the playbook or give him the playbook or to do any of that, which is kind of fair enough. That'd be a lot to ask anybody. And who knows if they did it like that with Derek Anderson before, or if they did it like this. But I do know that she said that they didn't even fuck around with Daboll shit. That they just went straight with the game plan of attack, and they were going to go simply with that. How to attack the Jets offensively, defensively. You know what I mean? How to take our offense, and what was the game plan we have for attacking thus weaknesses. All right? Forget who's playing in what position. We'll put the guys wherever they go, but it's not about countering one guy versus another. This is the right play for this is the right thing when you see this. It was actually offensive coordinating. That's what that's called, okay? Plays and coming up with good schemes and concepts, all that's good. But when you get in the game and it's not working and you still keep doing it, you're the fool. And that's been Daboll's problem. It's not that he doesn't have good schemes and concepts, but other teams obviously have figured out Daboll a little bit because our run game hasn't been any good. Notice that our run game hasn't been the best all year. This has been a good running team. People want to blame Shady for falling off. It's 13 for 13 yards or whatever in the past few games. People don't realize how broad an offensive coordinator can affect individual players and the team in general. And Daboll has been doing this effect. He's going to win some games. He's not going to be shitty every game. And in this point, he's already been pulled down from the booth. He's now been forced all the way up to a laminate play calling sheet from his paper. They're forcing the improvement upon him. All right. Now, maybe he needs this to be better. But man, then McDermott is saving his ass, and he's teaching him how to be an offensive coordinator. He's teaching him how to do his job like McDermott does his job. And we'll see if Daboll's a real good student, because if he's learned anything today, there was success in it. It's about not the scheme and concept. That's all practice. Let all that be timing, all that muscle memory. Build the foundation, build the fundamentals. Let all that ends at practice. Once the game starts, that shit better be down to a T. Better be on it. Better be on it. What you need to be worried about once the game time starts is the game plan to attack the opposing defense at that prior moment. As things change, if you see a guy ejected out of the game, if you see a guy injured, you attack weaknesses. You start leaning towards these things will open up during a game, things that we usually don't do or never do. These are things that offensive coordinators are basically, like I said, this is the offensive coordinator to me is an impressive position. This is why I think I have the most anger towards Daboll. If the quarterback position is a glory position, so is the offensive coordinator if you got a quarterback that you got to call the plays for. Meaning he's basically the brains of the operation. And he just needs a guy skilled enough to do it. Now, that's the argument. Does he have the guy skilled enough to get his brain? There's been quite a bit of guys running through here, and the one guy that ended up working, they didn't even use Brian Daboll's process. Okay, they didn't even use Brian Daboll's process. Look that up yourself. I couldn't tell you. I wasn't in the player meeting room, but I know that they gave that answer. That's the answer that they gave. They said we didn't prepare him like that. We didn't give him that. Oh man, I wish I had a clip of it. Now I'm gonna try to go find a clip, but I don't have the game 100% the replay. All the way through it again. That's not something you get a clip of. It's something you have to snap right there and get on DVR. And anybody who does have a DVR have the whole game. Listen through it. Somewhere past the second half, we're into the third quarter. Maybe, anywhere between less than 11 minutes. Maybe 9 or 7. But they start mentioning it about then. Because at that point, they're talking positive about the Bills. It's going our way. Let's talk positive about the Bills. To me, this game, I take it like the Minnesota game. You take what you can out of it. But this is a better game than the Minnesota game. Okay? This was definitely a better win than a Minnesota win, not just if you're thinking points or anything like that. I'm saying it's a better win because we capitalized, when we had the ball all the way in, at least till, we scored in every quarter. That alone, it makes me happy. All right, we're just basic. There's 4 quarters we can't score in every one of them. Come on, I like that. All right, that's a productive. That's a productive team. That's a productive offense. Logan Thomas, mad love, dude. Mad love. Who else, man? Is Barkley now, so now can he play? I can't even judge Barkley like that because he doesn't have, as many teams as he's been on, he doesn't have an extensive amount of game play time either. And he was on that horrible Arizona team that went through, that actually wouldn't say a horrible Arizona team, horrible Arizona offensive situation where they went through. 7 quarterbacks in 1 year and still made the playoffs that year. They had John Skeleton, Barkley, what's his name? Their guy that they got from Cincinnati, Carson Palmer, was injured. They went through a lot of quarterbacks that 1 year, and Barkley was one of them that year too. And then they ended up bringing him back later on because I think it was system familiarity. Anyways, what else can you say? Great defensive job. The defense did what the defense does. McDermott does what McDermott does well. Should Daboll be fired going into the bye week? Fuck yeah, Daboll should be fired going into the bye week. Why? Why after a 41-10 victory could I still say that? Purely because I was told, like anybody else that was listening to that thing, that the way that they got the quarterback prepared was to evade the playbook, to go with basic common sense play calling, live on the scene, how to attack the team and when to attack it. And Daboll did well at that. He did well enough not to fuck it up. He was productive. I think he learned today, maybe he can be an NFL offensive coordinator. But I ain't got the time for you to learn on the Bills' time, on the Bills' dime. At this point, Daboll's got to be flawless. All right? I only bitch about what's not working. If Daboll starts working and after all this time they gave him, And then for whatever reason, let's say from here on out, Daboll starts coaching and he starts saying it's, he's got his game managing quarterback, and that's the style of quarterback he needs. He can't handle an Allen. He can't handle a big passer. He's only a game managing quarterback type of offensive coordinator. Then I would agree with you 100%. I would agree with you 100%. It's a guy that relies on a heavy defense and a run game, but his running, come on. If you want to give Daboll props, where's this run game been all year too? That's what I want to know. See, the game plan was to attack them and not to worry about the scheme and concept and worry about purely what works in attacking the Jets. They did it well. The Jets played like shit as well, and we helped with that. We morally destroyed them by the end of the first half, which just made it easier for us. All right? Coach McDermott giving you mad props for holding on to the Barkley quarterback situation until Saturday. What a good fuckery on the Jets. What a great fuckery move on the Jets, because how are they? I mean, they were already probably preparing a little bit for all four guys, but by this point, I don't know how much they were leaning to Barkley. In all honesty, they was realistic that they probably thought that they could be facing Alice, Anderson, Allen, or even Peterman, all equally, if not more than Barkley. And Barkley ended up starting. And like I said, things like that help you win games. That's good coaching, okay? Keeping that shit close to your chest is good. And so I gave Coach 10 out of 10 for coaching today. Sunday. There's so much good stuff that happened in this game that do you think it's going to make it hard for me to stick to my message that Daboll needs to go? Not at all. What would be the best analogy? You know what? I think the Bills is an abusive relationship. That's what it's like for fans, at least for what we get back in return. So let's just go with that. You can only get things done to you so many times by a particular person or a particular thing to where you start realizing what it is. And you start paying attention to it. I love the offensive coordinator position. I glorify it like it's the quarterback position. When you don't have a quarterback that's a signal caller, meaning you don't have a quarterback on the field right then and there that can call the plays because your offensive coordinator does not fucking matter because he's going to change the play. It does not matter. The Peyton Mannings of the world, the guys that know the playbook in and out, and they can change the play right then and there to what they feel fits needs, to what it needs, to what they need. Love it. But when you have a game managing quarterback, the real brain behind the operation, live on the spot, that needs to be calling that shit right then and there, is the offensive coordinator. All right, and the weaker the offensive coordinator is, the less you'll see them utilize their skills in getting receivers in positions or plays where they're actually throwing manageable first down situations. Where sometimes I don't understand the typical where it's 3rd and 8 and you throw it 30 yards and you don't get it. And everybody's like, well, at least they went deep. We didn't need you to go deep. We just needed 8 yards. So sometimes, fuck the deep. If you're going to go waste the deep ball, waste it on 1st and 2nd. But do not waste the 3rd down on a deep ball unless that bitch is wide open for a touchdown. Common motherfucking sense. You don't shoot yourself and give yourself one less down. I know that much. Don't make no sense. So Daboll seems to be like he has a game managing quarterback, and maybe he can do it. That's the best of what it seems like right now. But you got to remember the Jets played down. They didn't use Daboll's system or schemes or playbook. They went purely with an attack plan, and that's what they went off of, an attack plan. And when I tell you this, the job of an offensive coordinator is to play chess against the defensive coordinator live, right then and there on the spot. Your studying all week is over with. Your training, your practice, your schemes, your concepts, all the things you came up with better work out. And if they don't stay stagnant on stupid. Change it up. Right then and there. Not the next week. Not the week after. The better offensive coordinator is going to try something new on the spot. Not wait 9 weeks later. I also want to give, I don't know, did I just say mad props to Logan Thomas? Logan Thomas, probably the quarterback we should be watching right there. Great game plan, though, for whoever to put that game plan forward. And if Brian Daboll put the game plan forward as far as the offensive side goes and not the schemes and concepts, and they went with this a basic attack for the Jets, then kudos on him. And maybe he needs to learn to keep it simple. This shit's not that complex. It really isn't. Who's talented enough to accomplish it is the difference. When it comes out to the players, and if they got the players and they got these guys, then who's the guy that's able to call the plays to get them in that position? And if they can call the plays to get them in that position and it's not working, who's the guy on the spot that can change it up? You're playing a live football game, so coach live. And I think that's what happened today. He coached, or Sunday, he coached live. Great defensive effort, but we're saying nothing new. The offensive line, great job. What was it? EYE Taylor. Great job across the board. The whole team, good job. I'm not even gonna shit on Daboll too much, other than the fact that he needs to keep it simple if this is what's working. Matt Barkley, don't live in the Matt Barkley world too much. You start giving him props to MVP awards and all this shit. Thank you for a victory, but how little of a franchise are we that we would crown a motherfucker after this? I understand our whole offense has been putrid, but that's no reason to crown a motherfucker for it. Let's see what it's like when they start game planning and Daboll's system starts getting in his veins. Let's see if Daboll still goes with that. What philosophy will Daboll go with if he keeps his job after the bye week? If I was McDermott, I would still let him go. I think he could do the same. But, nobody's going to do that. So, honestly, they're probably going to stick with him throughout the rest of the year. And we'll discuss that at the end of the year. So, if that's going to be the case, I'm only going to heart Daboll. When he has a bad game from this point on, he didn't have a bad game. So, Daboll, keep it simple. That seems to work for you. Seems to work. All right? Just a good victory, you guys. I don't know. You can't really shit on the day, and I wouldn't want to shit on the day. Okay, but if I had to shit on the day and look for things that we need to be worried about, September 1st of this year, Matt Barkley was put on the injury reserves list by Cincinnati. Then he was let go. Okay. Only reason I'm bringing that up is we've been played at the quarterback position mainly because of injuries. And not working out. Obviously, Peterman can't be injured. He's the most durable quarterback in the NFL. But other than Peterman's unbreakable ass, every other quarterback has had some sort of injury, concussion, elbow, whatnot. And if Barkley gets hit in the knee just a little bit, if he runs the ball, and he's not a runner, if he gets just hit right, he could be out. And what we just gained, we lost. So if there's anything to worry about, it's Barkley's knee. How well is it? It's been since September. Or it's not that long ago, okay? Obviously, I'm not saying he can't stand on it. He did well in that game. I'm just saying re-injury. It's a reality. So if we're going to get rid of quarterbacks here, then that means Anderson may be starting, you guys, if Matt Barkley goes down. And here's the point. Have we not learned our lesson? What do we do if, let's say, Barkley starts or Allen starts? If they get injured again, where are we at? If we're getting rid of Peterman, that's cool. That means, but if Anderson is going to be a guy, if he's mentoring, and that means he's not playing, then that means he's really not a guy that should be counting on. I don't understand Anderson's position. I do understand the mentoring part of that. I do understand the learning and the teaching, but then you would move Peterman out and still bring in another guy or something. Because if your plan is never to start Anderson or Allen, then for the rest of the season, if that is the plan, if that's their plan, who knows? We'll find out by the end of the bye week. But then you would still need to get Barkley, somebody to back him up who is going to start, or else Allen's going to be back in, or Anderson. What do we do if Barkley gets hurt? Am I a fool for bringing that up? No, not at all. You're a fool if you would ignore it. I'm not jinxing nothing. Come on, history. Current history, relevant history, what's in the past couple of weeks ago history. Come on. And then, hearing things like, this is the first time the Bills have had, broke many points, since blah, 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 20 years, Do you guys not know that the point is we've sucked? That these records that we're just breaking franchise-wise, most franchises have broke these same records years ago in their own franchise. We haven't really put out any offense that's amazing in over 20 years. And the game's changed so much that the records that we're setting are old records because we've been so inept all over all these years. So as cool as it is to set that record, it's about damn time. And it didn't even happen with anybody or a special team. It just happened. Like I said, everything, give things enough time, it's bound to happen. You're bound to make the playoffs. If you're still going to suck throughout the process, you're still bound to break a record or two in a positive way. Other than the Matt Barkley knee thing, that's the only thing I'm worried about with Barkley right now. Everybody gets their shot to play the game, to show what they got, you know. And even if you get multiple shots every time you're on the field, I'll give you that. All right, you're up. I don't care if they put Peterman in 80 more times and I'm screaming, why are they putting him in? Once he says hut, all right, let's see what you got. Don't prove us wrong. Shady did well. Why is it that, like I said, the guys that are defending Daboll can defend Daboll, then use this one game to help him out, and then forget all of Shady's lack of running. And then how Shady somehow so good today? What happened? See, you're not at least using that logic in reverse on yourself when you want to blame one. At least, where's the logic with Daboll? Where's that been with Daboll? Where's Shady's been here the whole time? Quarterback plays affecting the running game? Yes, it does, because at least you want to keep them off, on their toes. Common sense is, pass, run, pass, run. Doesn't matter. You want them to, if you're passing, you want them to think run. If you're running, you want them to think pass. You want to make them start biting, and the only way to do that is start building a rhythm of successful runs and plays where you can actually start going any way you want. That's what opens up for an offensive coordinator to do what they really want to do, or a signal calling quarterback. That's what they're looking for. The whole point of that is they're trying to break the defense into second guessing themselves. All right? And, so getting Shady to work and then blaming Shady over the last few weeks. Is the guy good enough? Is he not good enough? They've been really hard on Shady. She had no reason to. No reason to. Shady didn't fall off. I can guarantee you at 37, I could still dust quite a few motherfuckers in a foot race. It depends on how you take care of yourself, I will say that. I'm not going to be as fast as I once was, but I'm not that far off either. So I'm going to tell you that Shady's a much younger man than me, and he's not that far off of his speed. He still has top speed, and his best part is his agility, his maneuverability, his chop step, his shimmy moves, his shake and bake, all that shit. That's what makes Shady Shady. So losing a little bit of speed isn't going to kill him. He still needs speed. He's not a power back, but still. That is just one of those things it is. What else do you say other than that, man? Just a good game. And, oh, man, thank you, and I mean it, to that boy Rico. Thank you for showing love back in my direction and giving me a shout out on the video. I'm sure that threw a few motherfuckers off because they were like, whoa, I just donated money and as soon as you did that, matter of fact, as soon as you gave me a shout out, man, you got a $20 donation and a $50 donation. Motherfuckers were getting jealous. It wasn't me, dude. I mean, you got that. So, hey, anything that helps your channel out, anything that helps Buffalo Fanatics out, just know this when it comes to Fanatics, Rico, thank you for the shout out. Really, really mad love. I think I harp on y'all's channel the most, just like I harp on the Bills. I expect the most from what I like the most, and I don't stay quiet about it. I tend to push at it, because if I don't push at it, then how am I to know that there ever could the possibility of change possibly happen? Nothing wrong with asking, or nothing wrong with if I can't get an attention of lighting a fire. So hope you guys don't take anything I do too personal. It is personal for me, but not in that type of way. Not person to person personal. It's personal to me that this is something I like and I can be open with, So Rico, thank you for showing me support. Not showing me support, in that way, but showing me love in return for my support of it. Not your channel, but at least looking at what I say open and honestly. Anybody can learn anything from anybody, but you got to be open-minded. And if you're not going to be open-minded, and Rico, you seem to be very open-minded. You don't seem like you want to fight it out. I mean, you seem like, you know what? Let me see what this guy's talking about. Let me see if there's any truth to what he's saying. All right, you know what? I tell you anything, let it pan out. Let what I say, give it a week. Give me a week. Anybody. I tell anybody just listening to me right now. If you don't think I'm right, give me a week. Go back, listen to what I say after that week, and see if anything's off. You could do that with any sportscaster right now. You could do it with any ESPN person. They're going to be wrong because they're trying to feed you something they can't provide, predict the future. I promise you that I would never do that. And I know it looks like Rico's never going to do that. Because, you got your head on your shoulders. You seem to be looking at it. What's the point? We're all family. We're all family. And sometimes what's wrong with having an uncle who's straightforward, or the father, or whatever not, however you want to calculate this. What's wrong with having the person in your family who's straightforward, but not too straightforward, where they're trying to kill you, your insides, and destroy you from the inner. They're trying to just really shock you back to life and say, hey man, it's going to be okay, but we really see what's in front of us, so that way we're able to deal with it. These are the type of things we need. And Rico has been definitely providing that weekly. There are other guys on that channel that I do get to watch. I think some of them, I will definitely say this, if I could say about the other guys on the channel. The younger ones, I didn't know I would do this until I got older, so I can't be the only one doing this. So this is why I'm going to say it. Sometimes when you're younger and you're looking at somebody younger, way younger than you, telling that, crazy young. I'm not old, so when somebody's younger than me, it's like, whoa, hold on, bub. When I was your age, I know I've lived and breathed this sport just as much as anybody else did, and I don't know how much I would have trusted somebody's to let me tell them a lot about football more than them tell me, being that they've probably watched it for about 2 decades longer than me. There's things I know that I can learn more from that older person than the younger person. So what I'm saying is, with the younger cats on the channel, I think there needs to be a point. If they're going to be positive and their spins to be positive, and this is that, then state it. State it out, because as far as the learning goes, I'm pretty fucking picky and choosy on who I learn from. And I only learn from those who have life experience. Well, not even that. I don't want to diss myself when I was younger, or who are willing to be open to the thought of things not being quite one way. Okay? And that's kind of the point of the channel anyways. This is just my view outside, looking in. Looking into the situation, looking into the views, looking on. So, the guys on that channel that are younger, I just think my biggest beef with them is just going to be a younger person telling me either something I already know, or trying to give me hope when I'm like, dude, you haven't rode this ride with us long enough, man. I don't know if you can tell us what the next turn is going to be. Because if I'm going to listen to the next turn, it's going to be the guy that's been taking turns, man, shit. But anyways, man, still, even then, I show all the channel creator support, all the Buffalo fanatics. Pierre, I want to tell you this, Pierre, you get one game, dude. You get one game, and I knew for whatever reason you'd start harping. Oh, but look, he's got his guy now. He's got his guy. Look at Daboll's got his guy. This is what could happen. Yeah, this is what could happen if you don't use Daboll's playbook and you just go with the attacking game plan. Pretty simple, but it wasn't Daboll. Even if Daboll was calling it, he wasn't calling his shit today. I'm going to go with that until I'm told otherwise by specifically somebody that asked him that question. It's not the power to ask McDermott that question. I think I've just got to go with what exists in reality. And that was said in game. Somebody find it. Prove me wrong. But it was pretty straightforward. And I thought and it's common sense. Why would you want to give him too much? And he did well with that. So Barkley, Allen, Anderson, whoever starts going after the bye week, it doesn't matter to me. We have 7 losses at this point. If you guys still think that 9-7 can get you into playoffs, maybe 7-9 gets you in the playoffs. But who knows? But I'm going to tell you this much: we're out of it. Well, we're not mathematically out of it, so I shouldn't even say we're out of it. Until we're mathematically out of it, we're not out of it. But anyways, it's one game at a time. So we'll see what the next game after the bye week, what happens. And if you never know, could we be in the playoffs? Lord, I don't think they're very slim chances. I'm the type of person where like I said, once that door closes mathematically to the playoffs, literally, legitimately mathematically, like there's not a chance in hell. It's all sealed up. Even if we win the rest of our games, we cannot get into playoffs. Once it's that scenario, I'm all for the draft position. So I'm always in a confusing position because I'm very loyal to winning. Winning is everything. I don't want to ruin the draft position. But you know what? What are we tanking for? Another thing. tanking is specific is to, you want to lose intentionally for a reason to get a higher draft pick. All right. What do we fight? What number are we fighting for again? Because it seems like people are being very greedy. Like, we need to get 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 5, 4. We could be the number 3. We could be the number 2. What if we can get the same caliber of guy at 8 or 9? Because that's more realistic where we're going to be than there's 32 teams. We're not the only shitty team out there. We're just the only inept offense that just shows up once every 9 games. Or once every 4. Or whatever you want to call it. With the defensive help. We didn't fuck this up today. So, not a big deal. Like I said, mad love. And I appreciate the returned love back from you, Rico. Thank you. It's much, much appreciated. I have stupid papers here where I write little notes on too, where I'm like, what do I need to look at? But anyways, look, enjoy the victory. It's a good victory. Look at it with open eyes. It is what it is. It's still a coaching staff evaluation season. How do we not come out of the end of this season without evaluating the staff and only the talent? We need to evaluate the talent going into this season. We utilize what time we have to find out who's who. And while we're finding out who's who, we continue to push and see if Daboll is who's who. If Daboll's going to stay on the rest of the year, let's throw him as many curveballs as we can. Offensive line, defensive, offensive guys changing in and out until something either sticks and works, or he proves that no matter what you throw in his direction, he's going to fail. But either way, Daboll has to have an answer by the end of the season, because man, going forward with this system just seems crazy. And if we're going to go forward with it, I'm going to shut up until game 1 and they play and they fail by Daboll or whatnot. I'm going to be harping on it again. But for right now, Daboll gets a day off. For the most part. They didn't use his plans or strategies. At least I don't think so. Not from what they said. Not from what I take from that. They used the Daboll's signature, signature sauce on this one. This just seemed like hey, let's common sense throw out an attack game plan for what would work for against the Jets. Let's not overcomplicate it. Let's just go with that. What is it, like 2 pages? Go out there. Keep running these plays. Keep running that. All right, we're gonna flip the play. Go this way. Go to that. It's just, brilliantly, stupidly brilliant, idiot savant type thing. Anyways, ramble. Hey, remember, nothing in life is one way. You guys be open-minded. Have a good day. And go Bills.
Battling my arch nemesis, Mr. Ignorant. He's been trying to take me out since the days of my youth. He fears this day will come. I'm out on his trail, but sometimes he slips away because he has an army. They always give me trouble, mainly hatred, jealousy, and envy. They attack me. They think they got me, but I use my super science and I twist all 3. I see sparks over that building. They're shooting at me. I dip, do a backflip, then I hit him in the heart with sharp steel bookmarks. Ignorance hates when I drop it, but no matter what he do, he can't stop the profit.